Hi, everyone, and welcome to this special InformaGente Extra, where we will look at urgent issues facing people here in California, with a focus on the state's 16 million Latinx residents. I'm Jimmy Smits.
And I'm Melissa Barrera. Hi, Jimmy. So great to see you.
Hi.
I miss you. Welcome, everybody, to InformaGente. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? Between COVID-19 and the tragic, fierce wildfires that have raced across California and the West. These are challenging times. A year to be prepared for anything, because anything can happen.
Most certainly. Thank you, Melissa. I'm Noemi González, everyone. Welcome. For many individuals across the state, but especially the millions of Latinos and Latinas here and our hundreds of thousands essential migrant workers, wildfire smoke has made this difficult year, this COVID intense year, even harder.
There's been so much thick, smoky air lately. Evacuations, power shutoffs, and the threat of even more. It's a reality in this state that anyone might have to leave their home at any time.
So in this special edition of InformaGente, we will see the 5 simple things that you can do to be more ready for free in regards to natural disasters for wildfires, earthquakes, and floods.
First, though, we're going to take a look at how the coronavirus pandemic has impacted young people in this state, including some young folks who are very dear to our hearts, some acting students from Los Angeles City High School. You know that young Latinx people are at the very core of these InformaGente conversations.
And let me just note that InformaGente is made possible by 3 terrific organizations. Listos, California, tasked by Governor Newsom to help everyone across the state prepare for natural disasters. LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens, the oldest Latinx civil rights organization in the country, and by the National Hispanic Foundation for the Arts, which helps build opportunities in the arts for Latinx actors, writers, producers, and artisans, and of which I am happy to say that Noemi and I are members, and you, Jimmy, are a co-founder.
We're all so proud to be here and lend our voices to expand opportunity for Latinx performers, for writers, artists in Hollywood, and throughout California and across the United States. Hey, stay with us. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
For the sweaty faces and the hidden smiles, the foggy glasses and the muffled laughs, a simple piece of fabric makes a big statement. I care. Wear a mask. Let's all do our part to slow the spread.
Con el sudor en la frente y las sonrisas escondidas, los lentes empañados y las miradas dedicadas, un pedacito de tela demuestra que los demás te importan. Por favor, usa mascarilla. Cumplamos con nuestra parte para reducir la propagación.
The pandemic has hit everyone hard, and it has hit hard amongst Latinx people. Here in California, Latinx represent just under 40% of the population, but we account for more than 60% of the cases.
As of late September, more than 335,000 Latinx people in California have contracted COVID. That's a big number, 335,000.
And while it may not always be life or death, COVID has touched our creative community as well. You know, if not for the real need of safe social distancing, we might all be at the movies right now. And you might have already seen Melissa in Lin-Manuel Miranda's blockbuster hit, In the Heights, which because of COVID won't be in the theaters until next year.
And Jimmy forgot to mention that he has a part in this movie, and he is fantastic.
I am Usnavi, and you probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated.
Morning, Usnavi.
Pan caliente, café con leche.
It's such a beautiful movie. The streets, sadly, were not made of music this summer.
And it wasn't just us. A lot of dreams got interrupted, like the students from Carson High School in Los Angeles, who were all set to perform the stage version of In the Heights last spring before the schools were shuttered to keep everyone safe.
Joining us now on InformaGente are 2 student actors from that Carson High School cast whose lives were among the many around the state and around the world disrupted by COVID. Hi, Samantha. Hi, Brandon.
Hello.
Guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Tell us about the roles that you were going to play in the Heights.
Well, I played the role of Usnavi, and I'm really excited to play that because, you know, just watching the genius work of Lin-Manuel Miranda and just getting the opportunity to to represent one of the roles in the communities that he was striving to represent in the Heights. It's just a great opportunity and a great honor for me to have this role.
And I was gonna play Vanessa just like Melissa, and same thing, like we were really looking forward to it. We got shut down 2 weeks before we were gonna perform, and I'm just hoping and praying that one day we get to do this to show like our Latin background.
So you guys, this happened just before you went into technical rehearsals?
Yeah, just before.
Yeah.
Oh man, that must have been so hard for you. I'm very sorry that you couldn't get up on that stage and perform this amazing musical and sing these amazing songs. How important was it for you to be on that stage? And then how did you feel getting interrupted? How did you deal emotionally?
When I had found out that the play was going to be postponed, I was devastated because I pursued this role with great passion. You know, this role meant pretty much everything to me. When I had found out that it was postponed, it was the worst news to me.
For me, at least, I know I was really disappointed, and you know, I was hopeful at the end of the day because I know eventually this will go away, and hopefully we will do it because this is such an amazing story. Like, it's one of the few musicals that show my Latin background, our Latin background, and I really want to put that story out there.
You know, there's this whole thing about the show must go on. Well, obviously we're in a situation where the show is not going to go on. But this is all feeding your creative beings. You know, sometimes you get a certain gratification from performing, from being in front of the camera, but the work that was involved in terms of the preparation that you had to do, the rehearsals that you had to do, the training for your voice and the dance, all of that is not lost. You're not going to have that kind of gratification of maybe for the audience right now, but you will be able to use this down the line. And,
Absolutely. If I can piggyback on that, Jimmy, you know, it's not just the work that you're doing in-house, you know, in action, reading it. It's also in the silence that you can have some things come up or come through that you get to make changes to your roles that you wouldn't have had that opportunity had you not had the time to breathe and remove yourself a little bit from it. So as much as it is painful, I'm talking to you from someone who was filming a very strong character and had to be shut down as well. And I didn't know when I was coming back. I didn't know if we were coming back. I know the feeling, and you're not alone. I'm working on Selena the series right now for Netflix, and you know, talk about someone who is I was someone who's like nuts and crazy and loves the arts and performing. It's Selena, like our girl. And now with all that in mind, Brandon, Samantha, how does your passion for theater or performance help you get by now?
My love for performing drives me in many ways. Like, for one, it makes me more observant. Like, I can't watch a movie and just watch a movie anymore. You know, I see like the sets and everything. I can imagine the crafting table backstage, everything. So it's just opened my eyes more to the arts and more of like the processes of what it is actually, as opposed to what people think it is.
Just by listening to the tracks of, for example, In the Heights, and, you know, watching films that I've always enjoyed, like classic stuff, like Disney stuff, The Little Mermaid, all that stuff, it just really helps with the time right now. It really helps you cope because those were things that always brought joy when life was normal.
To hear you guys, I'm so happy to know you're listening to music to keep you alive and good and happy and vibrant. And yeah, I'm very proud of you guys as young individuals, taking such good care of your creative spirit, your human spirit, emotionally, mentally, physically. You
know, of course, we know that there are things that we can and just have to do to stay safe in this pandemic. We have to wear masks. We have to keep that 6 foot social distance. Those are things that are really going to make a difference. It really makes a difference. No matter what is said, listen to the science. It makes a difference. Those actions that we do, it can save lives, no matter what your age is.
Our good friend Alan Rodriguez, who you might know from Criminal Minds or some other shows and films, sat down not too long ago with one of California's top doctors, Surgeon General and pediatrician Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, to talk all things teenagers, kids, and COVID, and people of color in a previous edition of InformaGente.
I think that's part of what we're seeing in this moment, is we realize how much we've been holding inside. And we've been keeping it together.
What are some of the signs that you would say parents can look out for? I mean, kids of all ages, but especially kids that might be prone to really slipping into some mental health issues in those early teen years that are dealing with the stress of this time.
Especially for teenagers, they spend so much time, oftentimes on their devices, on social media, that checking in with your kids often, kind of more often than you typically would, is really important. And some of the symptoms for teenagers can be, they may be more withdrawn. They may be just, quiet off to themselves, or they may be more aggressive and irritable and combative, right? They may have behavioral challenges. But then also, one of the things that I think it's really important for parents to recognize, that for kids of all ages, some kids will show their stress in their behavior, right? But some kids will experience it in their bodies. Sleep is a big one for kids, right? So you might see it affects their sleep, or especially teenagers, they may be feeling more anxiety. And the thing I would say is just reach out, because if there's ever been a time to get mental health, there should be no stigma. We're in the middle of a once in a century pandemic. If it feels hard, it's because it's hard.
We all need help. We all need, we need somebody to lean on. We need somebody to listen and offer some guidance, and it's okay to do that. Please take advantage of those resources. They're out there.
Do you know kids your age that have struggled during the pandemic, that have struggled with depression, or with feeling sad, with loneliness by everything that's been going on?
Yes, actually, one of my closest friends.
And what did you do? How did you try to help him in any way?
I try as much as I can. I try to be the best friend I can, and hear him out and hear his problems, listen to him, and give him the best of advice that I can give him.
And I think that's doing a lot, even though sometimes it feels to us on the outside that maybe we're not doing enough. Just listening is huge. So I'm glad that you were there for your friend. What about you, Samantha?
For a bit, I know I was feeling sad, obviously, because I was so excited to do the show, and to just missing everyone, seeing everyone every day, walking around the halls of Carson. I just miss real life. This all felt like fiction at first, or just a story that I was living somehow. But coping with it, I've just been talking to people, friends and people that can help me, or just listening to music, doing something that makes me happy.
I think it's so important to discuss mental health, because especially I think in the Latinx community, it's been thought of as taboo. And just talking it out, getting it out of your body is very helpful. Just being able to communicate how you feel with people is incredibly helpful and can help you get out of dark places. I know I struggled at the beginning of the pandemic as well, Samantha. I also was feeling very sad and very lost, and the uncertainty of, we don't know what's going to happen with our work, with so much plans that we had that had to be changed. So everyone watching, know that you are not alone in that feeling. My friend and fellow actor Erendira Ibarra noted during her InformaGente discussion with a senior policy advisor on immigration in the California governor's office, it takes a lot to keep us Latinx people apart.
And it's so tough for us Latinos, but we have to understand, no hugging, no kissing.
Even though we may not be able to hug, we can still check in on each other. We can still make sure that we are finding ways to call, to text. We're all still here, even though we have to be physically apart. It's important to check in.
I think for Latinos right now, we have to understand different ways of showing people how much we love each other.
Well, one thing me and my family have been doing is we've been elbows. We were doing elbows. And, you know, with immediate family, I mean, we get to hug them and, you know, be with them and stuff.
With my immediate family, I've just been taking the time I have with them to appreciate the time that I have with them. You know, I've just been spending less time in my room and more time, you know, talking to my mom or, you know, just hang out with my dad.
Just try to keep your artistic self open, because everything, it's not just going to auditions. Everything you do should try to feed your creative soul.
Oh yeah, anything can be art.
Keep rehearsing, keep reading.
You guys are already in a very great place. And now with this, you're going to be all the stronger because of it.
We will definitely be watching out for you too, on stage or in film or whatever you choose to pursue as a career. I'm sure that you're going to be great, and we cannot wait to see you shine. Thank you so much for joining us today, and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We also want to thank the Carson High School theater director, Marcia Barite, for bringing theater to life and for making theatrical and creative arts a vibrant part of your lives.
When InformaGente Extra continues in a moment, take a look at what your families can do to be ready for natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, and the wildfires that affect so many of us.
A disaster can destroy anything in its path, except our will to survive.
This is California, where our neighbors are our family.
They have our backs, and we have theirs.
Our friends, our family, our community.
We can all take small steps to stay safe.
Because knowledge is the best shelter from any storm.
And no matter where we live,
how old or young we are,
or what language we speak,
no matter how others may see us,
we're calling all people to connect, protect, and prepare.
And we're not done until all Californians know what to do by staying informed.
So we know what's coming and what we can do about it.
Until all Californians know how to connect with the people we care about and protect them.
Until all Californians get to safety if we need to, and know what to bring and where to go.
Or stay at home until it is safe to go out.
Before the earth starts to shake, wildfire sparks and waters rise high.
Get friends and neighbors to prepare.
Because we're in this together.
This is California.
Listos, California.
Now is our time to get ready.
Especially in California, natural disasters can happen at any time. So in this special edition of InformaGente, we will see the 5 simple things that you can do to be more ready for free in regards to natural disasters for wildfires, earthquakes, and floods.
Get ready tip number 1, get alerts. Hi, I'm Ricardo, Lara, California Insurance Commissioner. My thoughts are with all the victims and the survivors of our recent wildfires. The loss of property and loss of life in our communities hit by these fires is absolutely heartbreaking. My department is continuing to assist your recovery and answer all your insurance-related questions. You can contact us at 800-927-4357 for immediate help. I'm also here to tell you that one of the best ways to preserve your property and most importantly save lives is to be in the know. Get timely warnings so you can act appropriately. Sign up for statewide and countywide alerts by going to calalerts.org. You'll get text messages about extreme weather and other threats, as well as information about when and where to evacuate. The alerts are free. You can pick the counties that matter to you, where you live, where you work, and where the people you care about are too, like your abuelita and your friends. Tip number 1, get alerts.
Get ready, step number 2, make a plan. Hi, my name is Liliana Encinas and I am the Listos National Director, but I am also the Public Education coordinator here for Santa Barbara City Fire Department. And so we want to talk to you about making a plan. It's really easy. It doesn't cost anything. You can do it over dinner. You can do it including your whole family, but make a plan. Paramedics, firefighters, everyone has a plan before they leave the station, including their family at home when they're attending to emergencies at their work. And so your plan should include a contact list. Very importantly, you need to have an out-of-state or out-of-area contact that won't be impacted when that disaster strikes. Your plan should talk very specifically about what to do before, during, and after that disaster as well. We recommend that you have at least 2 evacuation routes when you make your plan, that you have at least 2 meeting places, one inside your neighborhood, one outside your neighborhood, and make sure that everybody knows it, understands it, and practices it as well. That you are fully aware of the shelters that might be available or their location if there is a disaster in your area. If you have pets, make sure you include those pets in your plans. We want to encourage you to make a plan today, and that's step number 2, make your plan.
Readiness tip number 3, have a go bag ready to go. I'm Xavier Becerra, your Attorney General here in California. We're living in tense times around the country as we deal with issues of racial justice and equity and the stress of COVID. And here in California, so many of us have seen the smoke and ash of wildfire. Natural disasters are part of life in this great state. So what can bring you more peace of mind right now? Being a bit more ready to go when you need to leave in an emergency. If and when you need to evacuate, you will want to have a go bag packed. Take a few minutes, grab an old backpack or tote bag and pack it with the things you might need to stay with friends and family or at an evacuation center. And think of your go bag as something that holds your most important information, like copies of legal documents and insurance records, a list of medications, and other critical items that you will want to have with you. Pack it with things you already have as well, okay? So you don't need to go out and buy a fancy new thing or all those gadgets that are being peddled out there by people these days. Just think about the things you and your family will need to live away from your house for several days, like diapers and formula for a baby, and things to feed your pet, a spare phone charger if you have one. And yes, these days you'll want to add face masks and some hand sanitizer or wipes. Doing these things now will make you a little more ready tomorrow. They'll give you peace of mind, what we all need right now, and it'll help keep you and your family safer. So get ready, be listos. Tip number 3, have that go bag ready.
Tip number 4 is to prepare to shelter in place with what we call a stay box. Hi. I'm Alex Padilla, California Secretary of State, and a stay box is pretty much what it sounds like. It's a box or some sort of container that you can use to fill with supplies to keep you and your family safe for at least a few days. Now, I know we're spending a lot of time at home right now because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're limiting our outings to what's absolutely necessary. But a disaster is different. In the event of a disaster, we may not have running water, or the water may not be safe to drink. We may experience power outages for extended periods of time. Roads may be closed, not just limiting your ability to go somewhere else, but the ability of first responders to get to you quickly in the event of an emergency. So prepare your stay box with enough of the following items to last you and your family for a few days. Flashlights, and don't forget the batteries, a battery-powered radio if you have one, of course water, and food that does not need to be refrigerated or cooked. And don't forget baby food and diapers for babies in the house, and enough food for your pets for a few days as well. And last but not least, trash bags. Your stay box does not have to be anything fancy or luxurious. And the items that you use to fill your stay box don't have to be expensive, but you're going to be so glad you prepared in the event of an emergency. And speaking of preparations, let's make sure you're prepared to cast your ballot this November. Go to vote.ca.gov for all the information you need to register to vote and your options for safely casting your ballot. Vote early if you can, vote by mail if you can, and don't forget tip number 4, build your stay box today.
Step 5, help your neighbors and friends. Hi, I'm Dr. Nadine Burke Harris, pediatrician and California's Surgeon General. I know that in addition to everything you can do to make yourselves more ready, it's important that we help our friends and neighbors too. Because paramedics and firefighters can't be everywhere right away when disasters strike. Neighbors are often first on the scene to lend a hand in an emergency. So plan ahead with the people next door and down the street. Knowing who's a nurse or who has a ladder or who has a generator can make a big difference in a crisis. Talk to them in advance about sharing a ride if you have to evacuate. Maybe you have a car and they don't, or you can ask for a lift if you need one. Encourage them to sign up for alerts too, so your whole neighborhood can be in the know. And share your phone numbers. Know how you might help each other if you have to. Planning ahead now and building community is a key step and a no-cost step for being prepared. And it has the added benefit of helping ease our minds to know we are not alone. We're all in this together, and together is the best way through. Step 5, one of my favorites, help your neighbors and friends.
Hello, I'm Dr. Diana Ramos with the California Department of Public Health, reminding you of one more thing. Get the flu vaccine now. There are 2 infections floating around right now in our community, and that is COVID-19 and influenza. You can protect yourself against influenza by simply getting the vaccine. Everyone over 6 months of age should be immunized. Talk to your doctor. Worry about one thing less, and that one thing less is getting the flu. Get the flu shot now.
Ooh, lots of information to soak in. So let us give you again a few places where you can see it in writing and get even more. Again, those 5 steps to be more ready for natural disasters are available online at listoscalifornia.org or in Spanish, en español, listoscalifornia.org/ES. It's also available in other languages too, and additional disaster guide information for immigrants is online at tinyurl.com/CaliforniaIG.
There is also information on the pandemic at covid19.ca.gov y en español covid19.ca.gov/ES. And again, in other languages, you'll probably see on the screen. And there's additional information for immigrants online at tinyurl.com/guide4all.
Remember, you can always call 211 to find resources in your area. And because young people, including Latinx people, are way too much at risk, let me emphasize that the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-TALK. Again, 1-800-273-TALK. El número para prevenir suicidio es 1-888-628-9454. Una vez más, 1-888-628-9454.
Let's end today on another round of virtual applause and thanks to Samantha and Brandon from Carson High School in Los Angeles for sharing their stories. Virtual applause, lots of love to all of you and to the rest of the cast and the rest of the arts departments and all of the high schools around California. We salute you. We know this has been hard. We see you, and we're so ready to see you being the future stars of TV and film and theater.
We also want to thank the people and the organizations that help bring InformaGente to you, and that includes my longtime friend and my fellow co-founder of the National Hispanic Foundation for the Arts, Felix Sanchez. Felix, you there?
Thank you, Jimmy. This year, we created InformaGente. It's a web series
dedicated to informing Latinos about COVID-19 and other natural disasters, especially in California. We've done a lot of work with students, and there's been so much progress that's happened. But we've also done academic studies that undeniably tell us that we are underrepresented in the entertainment industry. And we've worked to bring content creators and development executives together to hear new ideas for storytelling. The one thing that we have in our community is that entertainers, Latino entertainers, are so committed to the Latino community that support them.
To get education, experience, and become the storytellers and the leaders of the industry we so need right now.
We know that we're living in really uncertain times, and we know that 5 out of 6 Latinos have to leave their houses every single day to work. We are extremely committed to making sure this information reaches our community, and we want everyone, todos en California, to be listos, to be ready, and that's what we're trying to do here today.
Okay, that's it for this special edition of InformaGente Extra.
And we invite you to watch other editions of InformaGente in English y en español.
That's it, everyone. Stay safe and stay informed.
Infórmase y cuídense.
Cuídense.
Yeah.